Before anyone tells you this story, they usually leave out one detail. They say she was beautiful. They say she was gifted. They say no man could ever satisfy her. But that's not the truth. The truth is, she could feel what men were hiding. And once you can feel the truth inside someone, love becomes a very dangerous thing. In a quiet world where mountains leaned gently toward the sky and rivers moved as if they were thinking, there lived a girl named Era. No one knew exactly when her difference began. Some said it started the night she was born, when the wind outside the house went suddenly still, as if listening. Others believed it happened years later, when she first realized that smiles didn't always mean happiness. But Era always knew one thing. She felt more. From a young age, Era sensed emotions the way others sense temperature. She could walk into a room and feel tension pressing against her skin. She could hear laughter and still detect sadness vibrating underneath it. When people spoke, she heard the words. But when they were silent, she heard the truth. At first, she thought everyone was like this. She assumed everyone noticed how confidence often hid fear, how kindness sometimes covered desperation, how love could be spoken while doubt lived quietly underneath. It wasn't until she grew older that she realized something unsettling. Others didn't feel these things. Only she did. As Era became a young woman, her presence began to affect people in ways she didn't understand. People opened up to her without knowing why. They confessed secrets they never planned to share. They felt seen in her silence. And men, especially men, were drawn to her like gravity. The first man who loved Era was named Kale. Kale was admired by everyone. He spoke with certainty. He walked with purpose. He had plans for the future and no fear of saying them out loud. To the world, he looked complete. But when Era stood close to him, she felt something crack beneath the surface. Kale's confidence was built on terror. Terror of being forgotten. Terror of being average. Terror of not becoming who he believed he should be. When Kale spoke of love, Era felt pressure instead of warmth. She realized something frightening. He didn't want a partner. He wanted proof. Proof that he was worthy. Proof that he mattered. Proof that he was winning at life. And she was meant to be that proof. For months, Era tried to ignore what she felt. She told herself love required patience. She told herself everyone had fears. But slowly, she began to shrink. She softened her thoughts. She quieted her intuition. She pretended not to feel what she felt. And one night, as Kale slept beside her, Era felt completely alone. That was the night she left. The second man was named Elier. Elier was gentle in ways Era wasn't used to. He listened. He asked questions. He cared deeply about her words. With Elier, Era felt calm at first. But over time, a heaviness settled in her chest. Elier leaned on her spirit. He needed her strength to survive his uncertainty, her clarity to guide his confusion, her presence to hold him together. Era realized she was becoming a place where he rested, not a place where she lived. She saw her future stretching ahead, filled with quiet sacrifice. If she stayed, she would spend her life carrying someone else's unfinished self. And once again, she walked away. By the third time love found her, Era had already begun to change. She was quieter now, more distant, more careful. The third man loved her intensity. He loved her mystery. He loved that she seemed unreachable. But what he loved most was the idea of conquering her. Era felt obsession where love should have been. He didn't want to know her. He wanted to possess her. To be the man who won the woman no one could keep. And for the first time, Era felt fear. She left without explanation. That was when the whispers began. She's impossible. She's never satisfied. She expects too much. People said she was cursed. Some said she was broken. Era listened. And for the first time in her life, she wondered if they were right. She began to fear her gift. Every relationship ended the same way. Not with anger, not with betrayal, but with disappointment. She saw what others could not give, and it exhausted her. At night, Era wandered alone. She sat by rivers. She stared at the stars. She asked questions the universe didn't answer. What if no one is enough for me? What if my power makes me unlovable? What if I am meant to walk alone forever? One evening, as the moon reflected like silver across the water, an old woman appeared beside her. The woman didn't ask permission to sit. She simply did. "You feel everything," the woman said softly. Era froze. No one had ever said it out loud. "I don't want to," Era replied. "But I can't stop." The woman nodded. "Then you've misunderstood your gift." The woman explained that Era's power was not meant to measure others. It was meant to guide her inward. "You keep waiting for someone to meet you at your depth," the woman said. "But depth is not something you demand. It is something you recognize." For years, the woman continued, "You've tried to find someone whole enough to hold you, but you never asked if you were holding yourself." Those words changed something. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but permanently. Era stopped searching. She stopped explaining herself, stopped softening her intuition. She turned inward. She explored her own fears, the ones she'd ignored while feeling everyone else's. She learned her loneliness wasn't emptiness. It was space. Years passed. Era grew steadier, calmer. She no longer feared her power. She understood it. And then, without effort, without expectation, she met someone. He didn't impress her. He didn't perform. He didn't try to fill her silence. He stood in it. When Era reached inward with her gift, she felt something unfamiliar. Nothing hidden. Nothing missing. Just presence. And for the first time in her life, Era didn't feel more. She felt enough. She realized then, she was never too difficult, never too deep, never too much. She was simply early. Some people aren't hard to love. They just refuse to settle for half-formed souls.